If you work in an English speaking environment, there is probably one aspect of your English that you really want to improve, and that is business English. Many English learners think that business English is all about learning industry specific terms, especially in sales or in marketing. But that's not quite true, to be honest. Business English is about much more than numbers, negotiations, and formal emails. It's about how clearly and politely you communicate with your team and how well you express your ideas both in writing and in a conversation. In short, if you are a professional, you need business English, regardless of your job. Welcome back to English for Tech Professionals, the channel where we help professionals speak English with confidence at work and, of course, in life. I'm Anna Gandrabura, your English and effective communication coach. And if you're here with me for the first time, I would like to encourage you to subscribe to this channel, or if this is not your first time, but you haven't subscribed for some reason, please subscribe to this channel if you want to learn modern English for work and life. In this video, I will share 3 practical tips to take your business English, guess where? To the next level. And no matter what role or industry you're in, this video is going to be super helpful. So buckle up, we're starting. Tip number 1, you need to lead with the bottom line, or bluff for short. We all want to be productive at work and solve problems as quickly as possible, right? Effective communication helps us do exactly that. And this is where bluff comes into play. Bluff stands for bottom line up front. Bottom line up front. Before we go into any details, let me explain what that means. The bottom line is the most important conclusion or takeaway of the conversation. Upfront means placing something at the beginning before anything else or anyone else. So bottom line up front literally means in business communication a technique where you start your message with the most important information first. That is bottom line, the most important information up front first, and then you follow with additional detail. In other words, the bottom line shouldn't be at the bottom, at the very end, right? It should be at the top. What a fun paradox, right? Let's take a look at how bluff works in a work situation, in a conversation. Here's the message. After reviewing the data and discussing with the team, we believe Q2 projections are strong. Q2 is Q2, right? So we're talking about strategy here. Now ask yourself, in this sentence, where is the most important information? Is it at the very beginning, or where is it? Well, it's actually at the very end. Q2 projections are strong. That's the most important information. That's the main message that we want to highlight. We need to highlight. However, in the sentence, we don't do this. Here is how you can actually use bluff to improve the sentence. You can say, our Q2 projections are strong. We based this on the data and the team discussions. This is how bluff works in a short, simple message. You see, just put the important thing at the very beginning. But imagine that your message is much longer. Say you are writing an email, right? This is where bluff actually comes especially powerful in emails, because by putting the most important information at the very top, at the very beginning of your email, you save your reader a lot of time and energy, making your message easier to understand and act on. Now let's take a look at an example of a longer message that doesn't use bluff. And of course, later we will transform it into a proper message using the bottom line upfront approach. Hi, Alex. Over the past week, our team has been conducting final rounds of testing and collecting internal feedback on the upcoming product release. We've identified a few critical issues to require additional development time. The UX team also proposed some last-minute improvements that could significantly enhance the user experience. Given these updates, I consulted with both the sales and support teams, and everyone agreed it would be best to push the launch date back. So we are proposing to move the product launch from June 5th to June 19th. Let me know if you'd like to discuss this further or schedule a quick call. Thanks. Can you spot the key message here? Well, it's this line. And you can see that this line is almost at the very end of the email. Now let's restructure this email using Bluff. Here is what we have. Hi, Alex. We need to move the product launch date from June 5th to June 19th to ensure the quality and address final feedback. Here is the situation. After internal testing, a few critical issues were identified that require extra development time. The UX team also suggested improvements we'd like to implement before release. Both sales and support teams are aligned with the adjustment and appreciate the extra time for prep. Let me know if you'd like to discuss this further or if you'd prefer a quick call. Thanks. Can you see the difference between the first version and the second version? We can clearly tell that the second version that is used, the bottom line upfront approach, is much better for understanding and for comprehending information. The very important information is at the very beginning, and then look at the structure of this email, right? We use bullets to make it easier for the reader to read this email. Now that you know about bottom line up front, it's time to practice it. Next time you write an email or a message or present an idea, lead with the main point. Say it first, and then add the context that your reader needs. Tip number 2, use power phrases to create clarity. Now, we all know that misunderstandings and miscommunication happen quite often in business, right? In communication. And if you're not careful, poor communication can sidetrack a project, can damage relationships, and even jeopardize your job, This is all possible. That is why it is crucial. It's really important to prioritize clarity in your work communication. And to help you do that, to help you prioritize clarity, I recommend using what I call power phrases. These simple yet powerful phrases can help you prevent misunderstandings before they happen. So I'm going to share with you my top 3 power phrases for creating clarity in communication. So phrase number 1, this means. Use this phrase to explain or simplify what you just said. It helps make sure your message is understood. Now, here's an example. The deadline has moved up. This means we need to submit the draft by Friday instead of next Tuesday. So you repeat yourself, right? This means you explain yourself once again. The second phrase is just to recap. Use this phrase at the very end of the meeting or the discussion to summarize key points or to confirm the alignment or agreement. For example, so just to recap, we will finalize the slides by Wednesday and you'll handle the intro at the meeting. So just to recap. And phrase number 3, make sure. Make sure is the phrase to give specific instructions or attract people's attention to something that needs to be done. For example, please make sure the team receives the updated schedule by the end of the day. So it's a polite way to tell someone to do something to attract people's attention to it. Use one of these phrases in your next meeting or in your next email, and I'm pretty sure it will enhance clarity and it will help you avoid miscommunication. And one more thing, if you feel that you need more practice with business English, check my online course that is called English for IT Communication, where you can learn more power phrases like these, as well as practice grammar, speaking, listening, pronunciation, and soft skills. And most importantly, you will practice based on real life, real work situations, because the content in the course is taken from real life, from real business and life situations, work situations. So definitely you will find only the information that you will need in the real world. No old school textbooks, no old school content. Everything is modern, because at English for IT, we teach modern English for tech professionals. To learn more about the course and get your special offer, check the information in the description. And finally, business English tip number 3. Think in English, not your native language. Of course, at first, this tip might sound a little vague, right? You're thinking, what is she talking about? Also, you might be thinking, how can I just start thinking in English all of a sudden? Well, let me tell you, this is what you have to do if you want to communicate in English fluently. Why is thinking in English so powerful? When you translate every word or every sentence in your head from your native language to English, you're adding one extra step. Extra steps slow you down. Instead of focusing on the flow of the message, on the flow of the conversation, you're thinking in one language, you're translating it into another, and then you're trying to speak or write. So there's so many steps, right? Not only does it take up all this valuable time, but it also risks breaking the natural flow of communication, natural flow of the conversation if it's speaking, right? So when you start thinking directly in English, everything becomes smoother, right? Your sentences will come out more naturally, and you won't find yourself pausing to search for the right word, right? Or wondering if something sounds right. How do you start doing this? How do you start thinking in English? It's actually simpler than you think, but you need to do some work here. You need to start with this quick exercise. Are you ready? Well, try this for 5 minutes a day. Describe your daily tasks out loud or in writing in English, but every day, okay? Every day is really important. For example, this can be something like this. You're making something in the kitchen and you tell yourself, I'm making coffee right now. I need to answer emails in 20 minutes and then I'll finish the report. Sounds quite easy, right? Doesn't it? I think it sounds quite easy. You're basically narrating your day, but in English, very simple sentences. Over time, this exercise will help your brain adjust to thinking in English without needing to translate sentences first. That's pretty simple. Now, let me know in the comments if you're going to do it. And you know what? That's a wrap. This is the end of this English lesson. Now, your business English just got so much better. Congratulations. And if you think so too, if you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to English for Tech Professionals, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another video. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.